I've had a lot of women message me over the past few weeks saying the same thing. There just aren't any good men anymore. Or every guy I meet is low value, lacks a purpose, or is emotionally stunted. And I get why it feels that way. But after hearing it enough times, I realize something important. It's not always that good men don't exist. It's that many of them have quietly removed themselves from places where they don't feel valued. So, instead of doing another episode about where to find high valued men, I wanted to talk about something more honest, why you may not be seeing them anymore, and how they decide when to stay or when to walk away. See, high value men, they don't disappear randomly. They don't just wake up one day and decide they're done. And they don't leave because they're afraid of commitment or intimacy. They leave because at some point, the relationship stops feeling worth their effort. And that's not said with bitterness. It's not said with anger. It's said matter of factly. Because when a man knows his worth, really knows it, he doesn't fight to stay where he doesn't feel valued. So, what is a high value man? High value man isn't loud. He's not online trying to convince people he's strong. He's not performing masculinity. He's usually someone who is very capable, very independent, and very self contained. He doesn't need a relationship to feel whole. He's comfortable being alone. He has options, not because he's chasing them, but because he's built a life that attracts them. And that's the key point most people miss. When a man like that chooses a relationship, it's not because he has to. It's because he wants to. His time matters to him. His energy matters to him. His peace matters to him. So if he's giving you his time, investing emotionally, making space for you in this life, that means something. Not because he's transactional, but because he doesn't give those things away casually. So what does he value? High value men care deeply about three things in relationships: effort, appreciation, and being chosen consistently, not verbally, not through reassurance, but through behavior. They notice who's going to make the time for them. They notice who follows through on what they say. They notice whether their effort is matched or just expected. They don't need praise for every little thing, but they do need to feel that what they bring is seen and actually valued. So when effort is met with indifference, when appreciation becomes rare, when their presence is treated as guaranteed or not valued, that's when something starts to shift inside of them, very quietly at first. So the fastest way for you to lose him is one big mistake. It isn't one big mistake. It's slowly acting like his effort is owed. It looks something like this. He shows up in the relationship, he adjusts, he invests emotionally, he invests his time, he works through things with you. And instead of that being recognized, it becomes the baseline. Right there, that starts the problem. And over time, the focus shifts to what he isn't doing, what he should already know, how he could do better. Meanwhile, what he is actually doing is going unnoticed. And here's the part people don't like to hear: high value men don't chase appreciation. They don't ask to be valued. They don't beg for acknowledgement. You know what they actually do? They just simply stop trying, not dramatically, not angrily. They just disengage. So, how does this disengagement actually happen? Disengagement doesn't look like a fight. No, it looks like less initiative, less emotional openness, less willingness to work through things, less making exceptions for you. He stops offering, stops stretching, stops adjusting, because at some point he realizes he's given more than he's receiving, and no one seems to notice. And again, this isn't transactional. It's not quid pro quo. And once a man like that pulls back emotionally, it's very hard to bring him back. Not because he's stubborn, but because he's already accepted that the relationship isn't aligned anymore. So why doesn't he announce this? High value men don't issue ultimatums or warnings. They don't threaten to leave. They don't keep repeating themselves. The same concern, hoping that it may finally land with you. Instead, they assume that if effort and presence aren't being valued, then that's the answer. So they make a decision internally first. And by the time the relationship actually ends, they're already at peace with it. Why? Because it often feels sudden to the other person, but for them, it wasn't sudden at all. And make no mistake, this isn't about gender. This isn't about women versus men or men versus women. Anyone can lose a high value partner by taking their effort for granted, failing to reciprocate, assuming presence instead of appreciating it, and not making time for them. The dynamic is universal. People don't leave relationships where they feel seen, valued, and chosen. They leave when they don't. So, in closing, here's the real takeaway: high value men don't want to be managed, they don't want to be tested, they want to be appreciated, not just with words, but with consistency, effort, and your presence. If someone is choosing you, investing in you, and making space for you in a full life, make sure you notice that, because they don't have to. And once a man who knows his worth decides that his effort isn't valued, he's not going to argue with you about it. He's simply going to move on quietly. Until next time, have a great day.